So, generosity isn't just about giving things away for free. It's about creating meaningful, memorable moments that make people feel connected to your brand. And that connection is priceless. It's what turns a one time buyer into a loyal customer who sings your praises to everyone they know. Welcome to the Breadwinner Podcast. This is the show for sourdough microbakery owners who are building a sustainable, successful, profitable business from their home. If you are already in business or if you're dreaming of starting one, this is the place for you. I'm your host, Caroline Bauer. I own a successful in-home sourdough bakery, and I am here to share everything I've learned that works and that doesn't, plus everything that I'm researching along the way so we can build thriving businesses together. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. Caroline here, and as always, I am here to help you build a thriving sourdough microbakery that supports your life and brings you joy and helps you connect to your local community. Whether you're mixing up some dough, maybe taking a break between your stretch and folds, or sitting down to enjoy some coffee, I am so glad that you are joining me today. So we talk a lot about practical strategies to grow your business in a way that won't burn you out. That is the heart of the Breadwinner Podcast, is burnout proofing your bakery and making sure that you are growing a business that is in for the long haul. Today's topic is no different, but it's maybe a little bit less tangible and a little bit more of a kind of a concept that we're going to be talking about. But honestly, I think it is super important when you're building a business, especially one that is established in a local community. So today we are talking specifically about how we can weave generosity into our business and why it matters so much, not just for the people that we're serving, but for us as well. So let's go ahead and start with the big question: why generosity? You might be thinking, I am running a business, not a charity, so I can't just give things away. So I definitely hear you. But the reason I think this is so important and wanted to make this episode is because being generous with our time, with our knowledge, and even with our products sometimes can actually be a huge driver for business growth. So entering this conversation, the heart, the perspective is we are generous because we are creating a generous business that is here to serve. But when we're running a business, obviously we need to be making wise decisions to ensure that our business sticks around. So the motivation behind being generous is not just to grow the business, but running a business that is rooted in generosity is good business. So when we run a business that is rooted in generosity, we are not generous with the motivation of simply driving more sales. So I am pretty certain that the majority of my listeners, the majority of people who are creating a sourdough microbakery already are generous people. From what I have experienced already in the sourdough microbakery community in the last year or so, we are a very kind, very generous, very supportive, loving community. And so I think it's going to be easy to have this conversation about generosity and understand that not only is it important to incorporate generosity into our business, but it's also a really important way to grow a thriving business that is here to last, anchored in the community, but anchored out of a heart of service for the community. So when we lead with generosity, we are creating real connections. People remember these acts of kindness. They'll talk about it. They share with their neighbors, with their friends, and even on social media. And so that word of mouth is gold for your business. It builds a reputation, not just as someone who makes incredible sourdough bread, but also as someone who genuinely cares about their community and is here for the whole good of the community. So we are going to talk about what generosity looks like practically for your business. One thing to just talk about it as an obscure concept and to say, yes, I want to be a generous business. Yes, that is one of my core values. But how do we actually implement that so that it is part of our fabric of our business, but also strategically implemented to ensure that we are creating sustainable businesses. So we are all busy. We don't have endless resources to give away, certainly. So we'll break it down here into a few simple steps to bring more generosity into your bakery. So, number one, the very first practical way to implement generosity is by sharing your knowledge. So, you probably have other people in your community who are eager to learn about how to bake sourdough bread. So, I freely answer questions and I share tips and I even give away starter to people who ask me, whether they message me on social media or they come and ask me at my booth at the market. I am not going to gatekeep sourdough. Some people worry that by sharing their starter or by sharing their insights, they are going to lose business because if people can make it on their own, why would they come buy from you? That hasn't been my experience at all. It's a little bit of a tangent, but typically they keep buying from me because they find that it's so much work that they'd rather just buy from me. Or maybe they make the basic staples and then they come to me for the specialty products. So if that is your hesitation, if you're worried that giving out starter or giving out advice is going to lose business from you, I encourage you to try to reset that idea. That's a limiting mindset. And if you flip the switch to more of a generous mindset, know that if you have a heart posture of sharing and of service, ultimately that will come back to you. People will speak well of you. They'll tell your friends, and the word will spread that you are generous, giving, and a service oriented business, and that will help you grow. So, back to sharing your knowledge, you do not have to share all your secrets. You don't have to conduct a full workshop for free, but being willing to share some advice, some of your experience, some of your expertise helps build trust. And that trust keeps people coming back. From a business perspective, when I share advice about how to bake, when people come to my market booth and ask me about baking sourdough, oftentimes it leads into the conversation of, well, I host workshops occasionally and I have one open or I'll be opening one soon and I'd be happy to teach. And so oftentimes they will come and pay me for a workshop to learn how to bake. And so it turns into a positive revenue generating business experiences, but that is not the initial motivation. All right, the next practical way to be generous is to partner with a local cause. This could look like donating a portion of your sales to a local charitable organization or sponsoring a community event by donating some baked goods. It could even look like organizing a community bake sale for a cause that you care about. Maybe there is something impacting the local community at a certain time. And so you could organize a community bake sale to raise money for that. So aligning your business with something bigger shows that you're not just about business, you're really about community. People really want to support local businesses that share their values and that are clearly giving back locally. The third practical way to show generosity is to surprise your customers. This is probably the most fun one because who doesn't love an unexpected freebie? So maybe it's a sample of a new product, or maybe it's just a handwritten thank you note tucked into their bag when they pick up. The key to unexpected freebie is letting it just be like a surprise and delight moment, not necessarily connected to anything. Like it doesn't have to be in celebration of a holiday or like their 10th order or anything. It's just a random little note that says, I see you, I value you, thank you for coming back, or thank you for placing your first order, whatever it might be. Something that allows them to feel connected to you and seen on a deeper level than just an order. And that breeds even more loyalty. So they might post about it on their social media. Oh my goodness, I ordered sourdough, but I also got a free cookie. How cool is that? That's delicious. Support this bakery. Or if you're local, you should also be buying from them. So it often comes back to you like that. All right, with those kind of practical ideas established, let's talk about a little deeper into why generosity grows your business. So I did a little research and I found that studies show that 81% of business leaders believe that generosity makes their businesses more resilient, and 80% tie it directly to revenue generation. So that means that generosity isn't just a feel good strategy, it actually helps you gain new customers and build loyalty with the customers that you already have. So, generosity isn't just about giving things away for free. It's about creating meaningful, memorable moments that make people feel connected to your brand. And that connection is priceless. It's what turns a one time buyer into a loyal customer who sings your praises to everyone they know. And that is that word of mouth, which is so important to growing a local business. So, one important thing to talk about when we're talking about generosity in business is the importance that generosity does have to be balanced with good boundaries. So I know that many of us are juggling a lot between running a business and our family and household and community obligations and all the things. So we do not want to burn out. So the key is to finding ways that you can be generous without stretching yourself too thin. So maybe that's setting aside a certain amount of product each month or each quarter for donations, or a few hours each year or each quarter for a workshop or a class that maybe you offer to lower income mamas or something like that. Doesn't have to be huge, but when you plan it into your rhythm, you have it already anticipated. That allows it to be more sustainable pattern in your business and not just a one-off thing that you do when you think of it or when an opportunity arises. And it allows you to make the decisions in an anticipatory way rather than just on the fly. And really, sometimes generosity is just as simple as listening to your customers, sometimes going the extra mile to ensure that they have a great experience, smiling and having a conversation, sharing some knowledge at the market. That's generosity too. So if you're wondering how to start, here's my advice. Just start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire business. Just pick one area where you can implement a little more generosity this week. So maybe it's surprising your customers with a cookie in their bag when they pick up, or maybe it's donating to a local cause. And if you're stuck and not quite sure what aligns for you, take a moment to reflect on your mission and your values. So, generosity should feel aligned with what your business stands for. And when it comes from an authentic place, it'll resonate with the people you're trying to reach. Recently, in the Breadwinner Inner Circle, which is my private group coaching program with other microbakers, one of the questions that came up was, what do we do for people who can't afford our bread? And so we talked about ways that that could be incorporated into the business, whether that's partnering with a local organization where you can offer a set limited number of loaves each week or each month, or whether that's offering one item at a lower price point that's more accessible to people. So we threw out some ideas with the understanding that it has to be sustainable in your business, that it has to be a system that is repeatable and that allows you to earn enough money to continue to thrive and not to burn out. From a personal perspective, when I think about generosity, I'm always thinking of ways that I can surprise and delight my customers. And so for me, sometimes that looks like putting a little sampler platter out on the pickup table when they come to pick up their order. This might be a new flavor that I'm developing or just some extra cookies that I baked off. Another way that I often practice generosity in my community is by donating, whether that's sponsoring an event or whether that's donating to a fundraiser event. I've donated to fundraiser auctions, to bake sales, things like that that support local causes, not with the motivation of marketing my products. So sometimes they ask me, or that's part of the incentive for me to donate, is that they allow me to put my business information on there. And so I do that, but I don't see it as my only motivation to get my name out there more. My motivation really is to simply be generous and to share and support these local causes because I really do want to be anchored in the community and support the people that I live near. All right, I hope this episode has gotten your wheels turning, given you some great ideas, and inspired you to find new ways to bring more generosity into your business. Remember, it's not about grand gestures or giving everything away for free. It really is about those small, thoughtful moments that build connection and trust and loyalty. I know so many micro bakers already have generosity built into the fabric of their business. So if you want to share what that looks like for you in your business, I would love to see whether you send me a message on Instagram or screenshot this show. Tell me about your generosity and tag me. I'm Caroline Bauer _ sourdough, so I can reshare that and we can all get connected and inspired together. If you aren't already following the show, make sure that you do that so you never miss an episode. They drop every Monday and Thursday. And if you haven't taken a minute to rate and review the show, that would mean the world. That allows the show to be discovered by more bakers so that we can all be growing, thriving, generous businesses that are giving back to our community and getting good bread in the hands of more people. If you need to take your business to the next level and you're feeling a little bit stuck, I do have some one-on-one coaching spots available in the next month or two. If you need accountability, if you need some outside eyes to ask you some critical questions, whether that's how you can implement generosity or whether that's reaching the next revenue goal or planning out 2025, I would love to come alongside with you, sit down and chat with you over a video call and coach you to the next level of growth in your business. So you can book a call with me down in the show notes, and I am so excited to talk with you. All right, I will be back soon with another episode, but until then, happy baking.